Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So today we are going to talk about decorators. Before moving on, any doubts in the previous topics? Have you practiced that? Quite something. Let's see the decorators. So anyone remember what I said for decorators? So decorator is nothing but a function. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So it will actually add a functionality on top of your function and return to it. So what happens? So it will help us to change its behavior or functionality without breaking your existing function. So say for example, you can add like a common. You can make it as a common. So I mean, you have a certain rule need to be applied throughout your function. I mean, you have a more than one function, and you want to apply that certain logic throughout your function. So for what is the solution for that? You understand what I'm saying? So you have, say for example, I'm going to say diff abc. Diff sum okay, diff sub same logic. Okay. So this one is going to do a sum, in another one going to do sum. Okay. So how input should look like? How input should look like? Should be a list or a tuple or an integer or a string. How it should be? How input should be? I'm using what? I'm using star. So what it means?
Should be an iterable.
Should be.
Iterable.
So you mean I supposed to pass a list? Is it so?
But you have to pass tuple.
We have to. Is it so? Others? How about others?
The list.
Others list. Yeah, that is the common word he says. It's iterables. Okay. So it's include tuple list. Is it so? But I think you missed that large concepts. You forgot it seems. So star says will back together, right? What star going to do? If you use star in an argument, it will unpack your iterables. You need to pass an iterables, right? So you have to pass an iterable to unpack your. You have to say like 1 comma 2 comma 3. This will actually unpack. If you pass like that, what happened? This will raise as an error because this is one object, the complete list. But what a star going to do in parameter? You will going to pack your argument together. So if I pack together, what happened? You will get list of list. If it is a list of list, I will get type error. This is integer unable so it might be unsupported operand int and list. This is int and I is what? It's a list. Unsupported operand int and list, right? So if I unpack here, what happened? This will send 1 comma 2 comma 3 and INP will pack it together to produce what? Tuple. Now it will return a result. So the input should be what? So what is the input for these functions?
Integer.
It should be
Integers.
integers. See, if I say sum of 1 comma 2 comma 3. So star in parameter, sorry, parameter will going to
Pack
what do you
the integers into a
yes, pack your pack
integers into an iterable.
not integer, not just integer.
Any object.
I want an exact one. Going to pack your
Parameters, arguments.
it's going to pack your argument. What type of argument? That is the difference. There is a difference. It's going to pack your positional argument together.
Yes.
It's
Position.
going to pack your positional. If I say b is equal to, now you don't get any error, right? Now it don't lead to an error. It says b is undefined, so it says a type error. B is not there, so you will get a different error. Unexpected keyword. B is not there. If I leave it as it is, what happened? So this is a packet together. You will get it's a tuple, right? Tuple of list. It's a tuple of list, right? When you iterate, I will be list, and you won't be able to concatenate list with integer. So it says an error. When I use star, what happens? Will it work? Will it? How about this? How about star? Is it supported operand?
No, it's not.
Integer with list? No. You don't try. It seems it will repeat. What happened? Now tell me. What will happen now? It is supported. Star is supported. Plus won't be because it's a concatenation, so it won't support it. But star, because what happened? Your list will your iterable will become n number. So how many number you have passed? So you will get empty list now. Empty list. The answer is empty list. Understand? The star is supported. So now you may ask. So what is the relation between decorators? So here, what I'm going to say is, so this function will work if you pass what? If you pass integers. Otherwise, what happens? This will lead to an error, right? So if I say something like that, what will happen? What will happen? What will
Sir,
happen?
maybe some function will throw an error and type error.
Type error. What is a type error? What is the rule? So you know the rule, right? Python is a strongly typed language. What is it? That's why it's it. Please do practice. So what happened? So out is what? It is zero. It is what?
Yeah, that is int and this is
Uh,
string.
okay, then what happened? Is it possible to concatenate string with integer in Python?
No, type error.
What is the type error?
Values.
Unsupported operand. The same error, right?
Yes, sir.
The same error. So the type error, unsupported operand, int and string. So what to do? So I need to handle this input. So if I wrote it inside, I need to repeat the same logic here also, right? So my logic is what? If int, so you all know that is a list. So I need to iterate. I want to ensure everything is integer. Okay. So what to do? What is the step? So I need to say iterate for, or else I can do it here. Okay, I'll do it in a separate way, because if I keep it here, what happened? Uh, if five thing if, like if part of your input is correct, then it is start looping, and somewhere if you found an error, it will throw an error. So it is not a number one. So I can keep it separately. So for if what, how to check my data type in the condition.
Type function.
Type function. Type function will return, will tell you what it is. You won't be able to use it in a conditional statement, right?
So we can give it like if type of iter is equal to in something like
Is instance, what is the input? Object and a class. What is the object? So that is your iter, and I need to compare it with int. If it is true, then, or I will say if it is not, just return say invalid input. Got it? Now let's see. Your program won't be stopped. It says invalid input. Now I want to use the same logic here also. So I need to copy this and paste it here. So understand what I'm saying? So the same logic should be applied in across the throughout your functions, right? To avoid this, we can go with decorators. So let's see what is decorator. Okay, let's say value of function. This is how like it looks like. Let's see. Now we will find some stuff. Sorry. Got it. So this is how you have to create a decorators. Okay. So the basic decorator is what? The structure is def check in anything. You need to give a function name, and this is what? This is called null decorator. Okay, it's a called null decorator. So what happened? Decorator, how decorator works? So and it is denoted by the symbol. What is the symbol? At symbol, and you need to pass the function. Okay, so with the help of decorator you can change your function or behavior without touching that. Okay, and you can keep adding on. So you can add your adding a condition on top of it. So you just refer that function name inside your method or inside your anything in method or a function, and I can apply the same logic in sub also. I don't need this. I just simply use the decorators. Just say check int. It's like a inheritance. So in inheritance, so if you have any if you want to derive the properties, and you can do the properties in one day, one object, so they will be reflected across, right? So here you can change your function behavior without touching your code. Got it? And I want to change that input. Yes, you can do. So if it is not an integer, you can throw an error. And if you want to change that input into integer, you can do. So what to do? If it is not, what to do? Just say and create one out, say empty list. Say if this instance either is str, then you have to check whether it is what you need to check. It is digit, then only you can able to convert, right? If it is digit, so if it is digit, just convert it into digit, convert it into integer, and put it inside out dot upper. So I can change my input, or otherwise, if it is not digit, let's just say this part. Okay, so I will simply converted and produce an output. So if not integer, so it is string. If it is string, it's not digit, same value. pass out. Yes, I've changed it, right? So I need to pass out. Anyway, oh sorry. I have created null, right? So it is actually overridden my decorators, existing decorator. Sorry. Now it works. No issue with your logic. So you see, then what happened? The string was converted into integer and produced an output, right? So that's it. I will explain you the decorators how it is structured. So you need to create a decorator in this way. The first is what? A def, your decorator name, and the argument must be function. So you're going to receive your function. So decorator actually consists two parts. One is a function and followed by your argument. Okay, so your function are going to be split into two parts. One is function name and your argument. If you have a keyword argument, use a KWRGS. That's it. Okay, KWRGS. That's it. So your function is going to split in two ways. One is what? So in decorator, you're going to receive a function that is a primary, and this is what? This is nested function. Got it? This is what? Nested function. So the syntax is for decorator is if deco function name inside return nested function. Okay, or if you don't have, keep your function. If it is a null decorator, just keep it as it is. And if you have anything, so if you are going to create, so you have an argument, right? So then you need to create a nested function. If nested anything another name, and here you are going to receive your function relevant argument. Okay, so that is how decorator works. Got it? So when you use decorator in a primary function, you will get you will get what you will get in a primary function. You will receive what?
Function name.
Function name, that is function object. Got it? In a nested function, you will receive
Arguments.
arguments, keyword, both keyword and positional argument together. Okay, so inside, start coding your logics. Got it? Done. And then this is the structure for your decorators. Inside, keep your logic. It's up to you. Got it? Now, so here I used a decorator, right? So what happened? So this function will never call until a decorator is satisfied. Got it? See, I'm going to print. So I will explain you this thing. So here, actually, you're calling some function, right? The flow is what? So before calling your function, this is going to decorator. So this is my very first print. Step one, and then what? Step two is where? Try to understand the flow. Step two is where? This function won't be called until this function will never trigger until they have to call, right? So the next line is what? The return is the next line. Step two. This is my next line, right? So here I'm initiating it. So now we move on to step three. Got it? Now, if everything is satisfied, here is my step four. So this is I'm printing it for your understanding. Now, if it is satisfied, then only your function will receive input. Understand? What is error? star. Okay, it's a function object in step 1. In step 2, it's a nested function object. In step 3, I'm going to receive my arguments. In step 4, I made a changes and sending it out. I'm going to sending it. I'm going to throw it away. In step 5, I will receive it. Check. In step 1, what it is? It's a function object. Step 2, it is what? It is a nested function. Got it? And again, it's going inside. Now in step 3, I will receive arguments. Understand? So why print twice? Because we're using decorator twice, right? So that's why. And then step 3, I will receive my original input. And here I'm doing some modification, and I'm returning. I'm sending it out, dispatching it. Okay. And here I'm receiving it as a tuples. Understand how decorator works? It reduces my code, right? So if you have any more logic, you can keep adding it on, and it will reflect throughout your function. Got it? So you understand the concept, decorator, and it is denoted by at symbol. So if you want to use a decorator, just say at followed by your decorator name. I have one more example. See, just say this is permission. Let try to understand yourself. Let me know what it is. So try to understand yourself. So just think in this between these 26 lines. Tell me, what is my primary goal?
Sum is the primary goal.
So I want to call a sum function, and what is that? What will happen? I'm using a decorator, right? So what will be the flow? So what happens? What I'm actually trying to do?
So the decorator function starts execution first.
Yeah, okay. So this will actually, it won't print initially. What happened? So it will take your input to a decorator. Okay. So here what I'm saying, I'm checking. So it's like a basic function. So what is permissions? It's just a concept. Okay. Like if you are authenticated, like in a Facebook, you won't be able to see your own profile, and you won't be able to see others' profile, right? Other profile content. That is how it's constructed. So the URL is same. The URL might be same. So based on that, like say for example, if we say Facebook slash me, it will direct to my account, right? And if you logged in, so like if I say my name, what happened? If I logged in, it will take to my own page settings. But if you use the same URL, what happened? It will show my profile to you in a read mode. You won't be able to write anything, right? It is up to permissions. If it is permission, and you will get the read only access. If you have a permission, it will enable the write access to. That's it. And here, what happens? See here what happens. So this will take to my decorators, and here inside I'm passing my arguments. In argument second position should be a permission, right? So here I'm saying what I'm saying. If permission is this name means do function call. So I know this is my function object, and I'm calling with my inputs. Do function call. Otherwise, don't do anything. This is what I'm saying. Understand? So if I give something else, it says access restricted, and my function it will never call your function. So your intention is to call some function, but you are actually restricted outside function itself. You're not at all came inside. Understand? You got my point? You're not at all got permission to move inside, but you stop outside a function. Understand? So if I give a proper name, see, access granted. So permission granted. See, permission granted, and the function call initiated. It will print A and B, and the answer. It will add it together and produce output. That is. So what happened? I wrote one more function. So what happened? So I'm actually changing that argument also. If you don't, no problem. So leave it as it is. Leave it as it is. You will get 30. And I want to change my input too. So I did it in nested function. Sorry, a decorators. I did it, and my that is also changed. Understand? So I understand the decorator concept. Any doubts in it? Clear?
Sir.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the default two decorators are there. I will explain you that. Okay. So one is what? In last class I explained you. I'm having a class, and if you want to key a function, is it possible? What happened? So what happened? You are actually instantiating a class and you are trying to call. You thought it's a method, but here it is. It looked like a method alone. Still, it is method, but it says type error because you are passing a class instance, but this doesn't receive it because you are not using any parameter to receive. So type error. Your method sum takes zero argument but one given. No argument but one given. Takes zero question argument but one given, right? Because it is actually passing your instance, so you need to receive it, right? And without instantiation, it won't work. Still, it won't work, right? Okay, thanks. So for that, we need to define a static method. Maybe it is integrated in Google Clouds, but here it says class ABC lives abc.sum. So here static is integrated in Python 3 series, but in Python 2, you will get this error. Return 15. Got it? When I say abc.sum, it's unbound, but it says error, right? In Python 2. But in Python 3, it works because by default it takes a decorator by default. So what is the decorator? That is called static method. So to implement that, you have to use decorator called static method. So if you got a question, what is static method? This is what it is. To make your function as a function, sorry, to make your method as a function. So this will actually treat your method as a function. So you don't need to pass anything into it. Got it? Now when I call this, it will work as it is. So here it is integrated, so you don't need to mention that. But I'm saying what a static method means. This is what a static method means. Understand? The same way, and if you say the self without instantiation, this will raises an error, missing one position argument self, right? But without instantiation. To make it work, what to do? That is called class method. Class method, I'm going to receive instance. It works. So class method will instantiate even, so instantly while you using your method. I mean, so what class method will do? This will actually, so what we actually need inside this? It's a class instance, right? So class method will pass your class instance without instantiating. So means if you have any constructor, it won't be reflected in it, but with but default argument will be reflected inside this. Understand? That is what class method do. So class method will pass independently that argument. So you have to use that class method instead of this. Let's just say class method. That's why it is works. So these are the two default decorators available in Python. One is static and one is class. Have you understand what is the difference between static and class? So static method will help you to treat your function as a function inside a class. Got it? And class method will help you to execute a method without instantiating your class. So you don't need, so if you have a constructor, no, you don't need to worry about it. So it will take care of it. So that's it. So it will ignore the constructors, and so it will execute a method without a class instance. This will act by default. It will pass your current class instance into it. Understand? Are you clear? So these are the two different decorators. Got it? And this is our custom made decorators. This is the way to create a decorator. So this is the syntax for decorators. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I will move on to context manager. What is context manager? So context manager is nothing but, so before moving on, uh, so here we are going to actually going to talk about um, reserved keyword called with. Okay, what is with? Have you tried? Anybody?
Sir, while using files, we can use with.
Yes, but it is not just for a file. So we
Automatically
have,
close the buffer.
yes. So you will miss the context. Say for example, without using the context, you will actually miss the context. Like that is like when I say open, say I'm going to open a file in a write mode. Let's say SAM.txt. So this is my file. I'm going to open it in a write mode. Okay. Let's say f dot write, and I miss the context. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to say dev. Then, I'm going to do something else. Will it be reflected? No, right? Why? Why?
Still haven't
Pardon?
closed
Pardon?
the.
We need to close, right? So we miss that context, right? So there's so we actually miss that flow, right? To make it a flow, so to create a flow, what to do? So either you need to keep it anyway. So you need to maintain that close, right? So that is what context manager will take care of it. So to make to use that context manager, say with open as a file. If so, you need to say colon at the end. This is the syntax for with. With is a reserved keyword, and this is the syntax. Okay, it's a function call. Open is nothing but a function call, and I'm assigning it into some variable, right? Just say if dot write, right? Even if you missed it, what happened? This will close it automatically because context manager has that default. When you check, it was written. Got it? And when you move out of it, so that or the function, the file operation, the return, if you have anything like a relevant, you can keep it inside and you won't miss that flow. The flow will be traced, right? So that's why we're using with statement. With is a reserved keyword, which help us to maintain context. And this is a built in. So this function has its own context and you can maintain. And if you want to create your own, like for that you need to keep two method to keep a context manager. Say for example, and if you want to use that ABC with, say as just a data, this will raise an error because this is the custom context. I'm trying to do custom context. It says attribute. So I need to keep two method to make it work. I need to say enter and exit. Yeah, here it is. So we'll exit. Yeah, exit. Oh, sorry. This is actually triggered. So here itself, so while I'm entering, I have triggered that sum. So it is actually returning output of it. So I don't need to call this method. So this is the way to create your own context manager. So you need to keep two method in it. One is enter and one is exit. So enter, you need to tell what to do while you entering into that context, and exit what you want to exit. So I want to exit this method kind of. That's it. Okay. So you need to keep type value trace, but this is a default for that. We don't specify. It says it requires 4 argument, one given kind of. It says one question argument, but 4 were given. Got it? So you need to mention this. So you need to mention type value trace value. Got it? So for exit, so this is the way to create custom contacts manager. So what happened, your own class or function will work with statement. Understand? So this is the way to create your own contacts manager. So this is what contacts manager means. So this is the ultimate. So this is where we are actually using with statement. So to keep constant while writing of files or anywhere. So you understand this contacts manager?
Yes.
Okay. So the final one is a meta class. So what might be the meta class? So meta class is nothing but a base class for all. So say for example, we are all know objects are constructed on a class, right? So like int is a class, string is a class, everything is a class, right? So whatever we are seeing in an argument, like if say int and dir of 5. So the 5 will be converted into integer. So 5 is actually referring integer object. So integer. So this will actually return what integer object has it. Got it? So these are or attributes was reside in a class, right? That is meta class. So meta class is source class for your object. So everything was constructed on top of one class, the base class. The base class is called a meta class. It's an instance. It's a base class instance. So it's like a top layer. So it's a base class instance. So for to view that int, you have to say int. So we'll get that integer class document. So this is the method. Got it? It's a it's a top layer instance for your object. So where your object attributes was constructed, it's a top layer. So everything was reside in a meta class alone. So for integer it is class int, for string it is class string, for tuple it's a class tuple kind of. Got it? So everything was written in a class, it's as an instance. So it's a top layer that is called meta class. Okay, and this is all about our session. And we all know what is the difference between Python 2 and 3. We have seen simultaneously throughout your syllabus. And, any doubts in it? We are done with it. And please allocate that time to do projects. And if you want, we can meet in daily session. So as like uh, so even we can meet in a online the same timing. So if you are interested, so start doing any topics and start implementing it, and I'm here to guide you all. So please, it's up to you to choose. So if you want, I will give you the topics are there, and if you want me to give, I will give you that too. And all I want is you need to do practice. So you can reach us anytime whenever you want to. So here is an end. So anything you want to ask me or any doubts, you missed anything, uh, any doubts? Hello, hello, any doubts? So
Bro,
yeah,
can you
please.
can you show me how to create the calculator UA using
Calculator.
GUI? Calculator using GUI.
Okay. So window. So window in start adding your button. So each everything is button, right? So and you need one text box. That is what. So text edit. Keep it. keep adding your buttons. Yes. So then you select, copy, paste. Select both. All. So just to make it easier, that's it. If you can do one by one, that's up to you. Okay. Start changing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. Got it? So this is just a front end, and in the back end, change that object name. So whatever you want to. So here is that object name. Change that. By default, it is push button. It is push button 2, push button 3, kind of. So start changing. It's up to you. And in a front end, sorry, in a Python, you will get that corresponding name. And when user click that button, receive that. So say if a user click one, say one, or so what, or keep that one in a text box. Set it in a text box. Got it? This is a basic calculator widget. Okay. So I've shared that code also. It is there already. So in that you will find that in the drive it is there. So I shared already. In a GUI you will find that Calci. In a GUI or here you will find that Calci. Here it looks like. Okay. Here it look like when I execute. Okay. Got it?
Yes. Can you share the code in
Yeah,
Drive?
it is there already. So I will keep it inside. So you can reach me anytime whenever if you're having a doubt. So we are here to help you. So whenever, so if you are no matter whether it is an academic or a professional, so because we are a learner, right? So even I'm also having something to learn. Yeah. Take it. Okay. So it is there in a drive. So the drive link is shared already. So you will get it from a GUI. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for your time, guys. So if you have any doubts, just please feel free to ask me anytime. And thank you, everyone. Few of you attended the session a without missing even a single session. So thanks for your time. And I will speak with the Credo system, so they will share you the feedback form. You can post your feedback in it. And, see you soon. So if you have just no matter, so you have my number, and I post my email ID and Skype. You have a Skype audience. This is my
Thank you,
email.
Moisin.
Yeah, thank you, Shivam. So this is my mail ID and this is my Skype ID. So you can reach me anytime. So because I'm always so always I thought to learn something. That's it. Okay. So if you ask me something, I'm seeking. So I'm have something to learn from that. So I'm really excited to get. So I'm really excited to get something from you. So I will hope you all reach me soon. So please start working on anything. So to take some task and start implementing it, and we'll discuss that. Okay. So in a person or in a group, anything. So thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for it.
Yeah. Thank
Time.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiram.
Thank you.
Thank you, Moisin.
Thank you, everyone.